Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I've always liked quiet mornings. Coffee at 6, screens on by 7, code running by 8. I work as a systems engineer, mostly from home, which means my life runs on structure. My girlfriend Kathy was the opposite. She moved through days like wind through a doorway, loud, unpredictable, gone before you realized what she'd changed. We'd been together 3 years, living in my condo for 2. I bought the place before we met. She used to joke that it felt like a museum of efficiency, and she wasn't wrong. Everything had a place. Kathy said that's what she liked about me, that I made her feel steady. What I didn't say out loud was that she made my life feel like a constant test of patience. The biggest thing we shared, at least on paper, was our vacation fund. The plan was simple. Once it hit 12,000, we'd take a long trip, maybe Europe or Hawaii. I set up an automatic transfer of $500 a month. Kathy added money when she could. Sometimes it was 200, sometimes 50. We were close now, 11,500 total. But the fund wasn't what tested us most. That title belonged to Cameron, her ex. He was a struggling musician, always between gigs, always calling her when life didn't go his way. I didn't like him. He wasn't just a name from the past. He was a recurring emergency. Once, I caught her leaving our dinner to take his call outside. She came back 10 minutes later, eyes wet. "He's just going through something," she said. "I can't turn my back on him." I'd told her, "You don't owe your ex rescue missions, Kathy." She glared. "You sound jealous." "He's family." Family. That was her word for everything she refused to let go of. I remember thinking, one day that word is going to cost us something big. At the time, I didn't realize that one day would arrive with a single message on a Tuesday morning. It was a Tuesday, 10:42 a.m. I was deep into a server migration when my phone buzzed. Normally, I ignore notifications during work, but the screen lit up with Kathy's name. The message preview stopped me cold. "Cameron's been arrested. I'm using our vacation fund to bail him out. It's an emergency, you understand." I read it twice. No question mark, no hesitation, just a declaration. I sat back in my chair, staring at the words. It wasn't even the money that hit me first. It was how sure she sounded, like my consent was just a formality she didn't need. We'd spent months building that account. Every transfer, every weekend plan delayed, every quiet evening where I told myself saving was worth it. And now, in one sentence, she'd claimed it all, for him. I typed 2 words. Family first. Her reply came in seconds. "Thank you, Edward. You're amazing. I knew you'd get it. He's scared. You're a lifesaver. I'll make it up to you." I didn't respond. I closed the chat and opened my banking app instead. The account balance blinked up, $11,500. I moved exactly $5,750 into my personal checking. My share. I left her portion untouched. Then I opened a travel site. Kathy had always shot down the idea of Japan. "Too far, too strange, too much raw fish," she'd said. I found a one-way ticket to Tokyo, leaving Friday evening. I had 4 weeks of unused PTO saved up. I booked it. After that, I sent an email to my manager. "Family emergency. I'll be taking my accrued leave starting Friday. I'll stay reachable for critical tasks." His reply came within minutes. "Take care of what you need to, Edward. We've got you covered." I minimized the screen, turned back to my work, and finished the migration like nothing had happened. No anger, no sadness, just clarity, the kind that comes when the final piece of a puzzle finally clicks into place. She had said, "You understand." And I did. By late afternoon, my phone started lighting up again and again, call after call. I ignored them at first, assuming it was Kathy checking if I'd sent good vibes. But then the messages came in fast. "Edward, where's the rest of the money?" "The account's short. I can't pay the bond." "You said family first. What did you do?" Her voice in the voicemails was frantic, trembling on the edge of rage. Cameron's bail was set at 10,000. The bondsman wanted 10%, 1,000 upfront. She thought she had over $11,000. She only had half that. I sat on my couch, laptop open, listening once, then deleting each message. The calm inside me didn't feel like revenge. It felt like stepping out of a storm I'd been pretending wasn't there. By evening, a final voicemail came through, her voice cracked and angry. Cameron's mother had to pawn her wedding ring for the rest. You should be ashamed. You said you understood. You lied. I played that one twice, then powered off my phone. Later, I checked the public court records. Cameron's arrest wasn't a misunderstanding. It was check fraud, again. His last conviction was only 2 years old. The man wasn't unlucky. He was consistent. Around 9, my home phone rang, one of the few people who still used it. Kathy's mother, Elaine. "Edward," she started softly, "I think there's been a terrible mistake. Kathy's just trying to help someone she cares about." "She's using my money for her ex, Mrs. Collins," I said flatly. "That's not a mistake. That's theft with good manners." "You always were too logical," she sighed. "Maybe forgiveness is what—" "Good night, ma'am," I said and hung up. I sat there for a while after that, staring at my travel confirmation email. My flight to Tokyo was booked for Friday at 6:10 p.m. I had 2 days left to pack, and a lifetime to stop explaining myself to people who didn't listen. The next morning I called a locksmith. "I need an emergency rekey," I said. "My girlfriend has a key, but she doesn't live here anymore." The man arrived within an hour. By noon, every lock in my condo was changed. Kathy's clothes, shoes, and makeup sat in boxes by the door. I labeled them neatly. She'd always said I organized my life like a spreadsheet. This time, she wasn't wrong. At 6 p.m., I heard the scrape of metal in the lock. Then again, harder. Then the pounding started. "Edward, open the door! I know you're in there!" I stayed silent. Her voice rose, breaking between fury and disbelief. "You stole my money! You ruined Cameron's life! You can't just lock me out!" 5 minutes later, the pounding stopped. 10 minutes after that, the doorbell rang. Firm, deliberate. I checked the peephole. 2 police officers. Kathy stood behind them, red-eyed, arms folded. "Evening, sir," the older officer said. "We got a call about a domestic dispute and possible theft." I opened the door halfway. "No dispute here, officers. This is my condo. I'm the sole owner." I handed over the property deed from my folder. "She lived here as my guest." Kathy jumped in. "He locked me out and stole our savings. He took everything." I picked up another sheet, a printed bank statement. "We had a joint vacation fund. You'll see our deposits. I transferred my half, $5,750, into my own account. She tried to use all of it to bail her ex-boyfriend out of jail. Here's the text." The officer scanned the page, exhaled slowly, and turned to her. "Ma'am, this isn't theft. It's a civil matter. He took his own money." The younger cop nodded. "Ma'am, take your belongings and go. He's within his rights." She dragged her boxes out, muttering, "You'll regret this, Edward. No one stays with a man like you." I closed the door gently behind her. "That's the idea," I said, locking it once more. 2 days later, I boarded a flight to Tokyo with 1 suitcase and a quiet mind. The 12-hour trip felt shorter than most mornings with Kathy. Japan was the opposite of the chaos I'd left. Quiet, efficient, orderly. I rented a small apartment in Shinjuku, set up my laptop, and started working remotely. My boss had kept his word. No questions, no pressure. I worked mornings, explored afternoons, slept easily for the first time in months. The messages from Kathy started the second day I landed. First, a flood of guilt and pleading. "Edward, please. You overreacted. I did it for Cameron. He needed me. We can fix this. Just call me." Then came the anger. "You humiliated me. Everyone thinks I'm crazy because of you. You stole from me. You're going to pay." I read none of them fully. I muted her number and moved on. A week later, her sister Nicole sent me a screenshot. Kathy and Cameron were together again, smiling at a cafe, his arm around her shoulders, captioned "New Beginnings." The same day, I received one last text from Kathy. "You'll regret this, Edward. He's changing. You never could." I blocked her number. The following weeks passed in rhythm. Work, walks by the river, late-night ramen. For the first time, I understood the comfort of silence, not the tense kind that used to fill our condo, but the kind that comes when there's nothing left to explain. Sometimes I thought of how easily she'd said, "You understand." I did understand, not what she meant, but what it revealed. She had chosen chaos. I had chosen peace. And that, finally, felt like an even trade. When I got back, my condo felt cleaner than I'd left it. Ben, my neighbor and friend, had collected my mail. In the stack was an envelope stamped Small Claims Court. Kathy was suing me. The claim was for $5,750, the amount I withdrew, plus $1,500 for emotional distress. Reading it, I didn't even sigh. I'd seen this coming since the night she left. A month later, we faced each other in a small courtroom. Kathy wore black, eyes red but defiant. Her mother sat behind her, glaring. When the judge called our case, Kathy spoke first. "Your Honor," she began, "he stole money from me, locked me out of my home. He's manipulative. He abandoned me when I needed him most." The judge turned to me. "Mr. Thompson, your response?" I stood, calm. "Yes, Your Honor." I handed over my folder, neat, labeled, chronological. "This shows the joint savings account, equal contributions." Here's the text message from Kathy, stating she was using all of it to bail her ex-boyfriend Cameron out of jail. Here are the transfer records showing I withdrew only my half. Kathy jumped in, voice cracking. "He twisted everything," he said. "Family first." He knew I'd think that meant Cameron. The judge held up a hand. "Miss Collins, please stop talking for a moment." She turned back to me. "Anything else, Mr. Thompson?" "Yes," I said. "Public record shows Cameron Collins pled guilty to check fraud after his release. That's who she drained the fund for." The courtroom went silent. The judge closed the folder, exhaled, and said flatly, "Case dismissed. This is not theft. It's common sense." Kathy's mouth fell open. Her mother started to protest, but the judge cut her off. "Ma'am, your daughter made her choices. He made his." I thanked the judge, picked up my folder, and walked out without looking back. According to a mutual friend, Cameron had been arrested once more, this time for stealing from a bar where he played on weekends. Kathy had paid for a lawyer she couldn't afford. Her mother refused to help, saying she'd had enough of saving lost causes. Kathy's job at the event company was gone too. She'd missed too many days, handling personal matters. When I heard that, I didn't smile. I didn't feel anything. You can't gloat over something that was inevitable. Kathy had always believed loyalty meant never letting someone face the results of their own choices. It finally caught up with her. One evening, I received an email from her sister, Nicole. No greeting, no small talk. Just a single sentence. "She's staying with Aunt June now. She says she wishes she'd listened to you." I read it twice, then closed my laptop. That was enough closure for me. After that, I started a new routine. Work in the morning, a walk in the park before sunset, a book before bed. My phone stayed silent most nights. I didn't miss the constant noise. I wasn't proud or bitter, just steady. Kathy had gambled her future on someone else's chaos, and I had finally stopped paying the price for it. For the first time in years, I could say it honestly. My life was my own again. Spring came fast that year. I was back to normal rhythms. Some evenings, I'd sit on the balcony and feel something close to peace. One Friday night, I reopened the same travel site I'd used months ago. This time, no emergency, no escape plan, just curiosity. I searched flights to Southeast Asia, round trip, departure and return. For once, I wasn't running from anything. I was simply going somewhere. As the confirmation page loaded, I thought about the message that had started it all. Cameron's been arrested. I'm using our vacation fund to bail him out. You understand. 3 sentences that ended a 3-year relationship. At the time, I thought those words were just impulsive. Now I understood they were the truth. She expected me to understand what she meant, and I finally did. To Kathy, love meant sacrifice, even when it wasn't hers to give. To me, love meant respect, something she'd never learned to offer. I never heard from her again. A few mutual friends said she was still struggling, working part-time, paying off debts that weren't hers. I wished her no harm, but I didn't wish her back either. People say revenge feels good. They're wrong. What feels good is distance, the kind where you can finally breathe and know that no one can touch what's yours. Kathy once said, "You don't understand family." She was right. I don't. I understand peace. Thank you for watching.